Hi folks, I'm Ryan Hamilton, Director of Government Affairs for the Minnesota Association of Realtors.
And I'm Paul Egger, Vice President of Governmental Affairs for the Minnesota Association of Realtors.
Thanks for tuning into our legislative update. Here are the highlights from last week at the Capitol. Paul?
This week, the governor released his 2016-2017 budget recommendations. The roughly $42 billion state budget that the governor recommended is most interesting for how he proposes to spend the expected $1 billion budget surplus. Hearings have already begun on the governor's budget recommendations in both the Senate and the House. And at least to this point, as we review the governor's budget, the good news in the budget recommendations is that the governor does not propose to modify or eliminate or negatively impact those homeownership tax benefits like the mortgage interest deduction, which are so important to homeowners and realtors in the state of Minnesota. Over the next month, the hearings will take place. The hearings that will take place in the Capitol on the governor's budget will focus in on the various state agency budget recommendations, and they'll do that by committee. Then in early March, the state budget forecast will be released, and that's when the legislature will really get down to sharpening its pencils and producing both the Senate and the House budgets, which will then have to be negotiated with the governor as the session rolls towards a conclusion in mid-May. Now over to Ryan for a couple more updates.
So we're about 1 month into the 2015 session, and you can really get a sense that legislators, staff, and even lobbyists are really starting to hit their stride. Over 700 bills have been introduced so far, and I'd say at least 25 of those deal with homeownership or real estate related matters. When Paul and I see one of those bills introduced, we seek out the author, we'll talk to him or her, or we seek out stakeholders and stakeholders' representatives. I'd say the three biggest topics of discussions that we've had so far have dealt with matters dealing with insurance, property taxes, and workforce housing is also a big issue so far.
And that's the legislative update for this week.